You
Yeah,
saw.
that's not just.
Yep, no. I just saw the time. Oh.
I can relate. I walked in and said good morning. So
Oh,
good evening.
so he's online.
Laura's totally stealing this. Yeah, we were in New York and she was mad we couldn't get the Pride Yankee hat this year. They've been getting one every year. Apparently. She really wanted it.
Hey, Maisha?
Yeah.
It was so much fun, but it was
Can
absolutely.
you hear me?
nuts. I tried to link up with Alicia's husband. He couldn't
Just came on today about, I said, 3:30.
try to get like around.
I heard. And then it died. So can you hear me? Yeah, but it died and then I had to charge it.
I don't see, oh, there he is.
don't think he's ever found it up. Guys, can you turn the volume up, please?
Yeah, we're about to start the council.
Dwayne,
He's
you have us on mute?
Yes.
Yeah. Dwayne, turn your volume up.
There's the volume button. I don't know.
Yes, I came in late.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's doing all the transcription.
Anybody who's reading this is gonna wonder who said I tried to link up with Maisha's husband. And it was me.
Can't hear me either, huh?
Couldn't see each other at the parade
Oh,
here, the transcript
microphone array,
parade
speakers.
separately, and never found each other.
I'm not hearing him talking.
You
can't hear us.
We're about to start on.
Can't hear me, huh?
Okay.
We can hear you.
All right.
Turn up your speakers.
I think he's got it now.
Volume up.
We can hear you now.
But I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
We can hear you, but you can't hear us. So I think you need to turn your volume up.
I have no volume. Let me see.
Oh, he's home. I thought he was away.
You wanna come out now?
You can hear me?
We can hear you,
can
but you
hear
can't hear us. I'm calling him on the cell phone. So
Okay,
you may need to turn up your computer.
let's see if my volume's up.
We should keep talking so that you know.
Did you turn it up?
The volume is
Bottom right corner.
that.
Did he take?
Can you hear us now?
No, I can't hear you. What's this? Dry.
I called him on the phone.
I appreciate it. Let me see. Sound.
They were trying to figure out how you were responding. That's why I called you on the phone.
Oh, I'm not hearing anything on this end. Is that on your end or mine? My volume's all the way up.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear in the room.
Well, can the others at home hear you and it's just me?
Yeah, because it's transcribing.
Okay. And let me try to get my I have a little iPad. Maybe that'd be better. Maybe it's my computer. Let me check the iPad. Hold on.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. And then I'll open that.
Oh. Mm-mm.
Worst comes to worst, he could call in and listen on his phone
Mhm.
and he can hear us through his phone, like put his phone on speaker.
Blinks. Remote. We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Yes, he is.
I litigate a hearing every 3 months against this woman who's actively mentally ill. She never gets a lawyer. And she claims that she's not mentally ill, but she's deaf. But she's only deaf when the judge says things she doesn't like. It's so
Like
funny
this
though.
hearing.
Yes. So she's just like, I can't participate in this hearing because I'm deaf. And the judge was like, but you just heard me when I said that I could postpone it for you to get an attorney. This happened. So when you said, how come he's responding to us? He says he can't hear us. That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I hear
this poor
sometimes
lady.
that some people I'm deaf. I'm like, yeah, I'm deaf too. Can't understand my wife.
And they're like, no, that's not the same.
Something different.
That's something different.
That's
Yeah.
something
My grandfather had the same problem.
Yes. I feel like a lot of married people have that problem. But yeah, this lady, poor thing. She has schizophrenia.
But had she like made the
Oh, the hospital
request before?
always, every 3 months or so, they take her to the audiologist. She has nothing wrong with her hearing. She just doesn't like to be told she has to take medication. But yeah, I had another patient last week tell me that he was blind. I was
That's
like,
a different one.
but that doesn't prevent you from speaking in this hearing. We can hear you loud and clear.
That's harder to say.
Yeah. Yes.
You're not gonna walk into a wall if you're seeing.
Yes. Very much so.
You can always ignore.
He said, I'm at an extreme disadvantage because I'm blind. The judge was just like, well, can you hear me? He's like, yes. He's like, well, I don't think you're that big a disadvantage. This hearing is about whether or not you want to take medication. You can tell me that without being able to see me.
Because otherwise they'll just recycle. Try his tablet.
Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of people experience what's called
He's
somatic
doing his
delusions.
iPad.
And for them, it's real.
That's what he's doing right now.
You know, we have a lot of patients who think
It might
that,
be a shield.
yes, but there are patients who think they're pregnant. Patients who think a lot of them have cancer in their.
What's wrong?
Don't
know what- oh.
And they're getting, guardianships.
No, they're committed to the Department of Health for psychiatric reasons.
Super duper.
But then they just bring these things.
I don't
up.
know. Y'all need
me to turn the air
Probably not
on?
take meds.
No.
Like, I can't take these.
No,
meds,
don't
I'm
mind
pregnant.
me. I just
Oh,
came in from the
cold.
outside.
Oh, okay.
I'll be fine. in about-
All right.
And you're 52, you know, like, you know, like that type of.
Sorry, guys. I can hear you on my iPad. I can't hear you on my computer. See my-
Testable.
Okay, so we're good.
Let me see. So what I need to do is, am I echoing stuff?
Yeah, so turn your.
Yes, I gotta sign off the computer and use the iPad. Hold on.
It wouldn't take no call. It's a Verizon, it's Verizon. No, it's T-Mobile.
There you go.
There you go.
Wait, but now.
Now we can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay.
Unmute the iPad.
I don't know.
I got that. Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so I'm hanging up
Yay.
I
on the
can
phone.
hear you. And
You can hear us?
I'm good. All right, it's 7:07 and I caused a delay and I apologize.
You have a phone?
I'm sorry?
The folder was in your face. You moved it.
Okay. Yeah, I got a different angle here. I just set up over there. That's all right. Let's call the meeting to order at 7:07. Should be a brief meeting for the holiday. Hope everybody's staying cool. And the first order of business is residents' concerns. Do we have anybody who wants to address the council there tonight?
No.
I'm just rushing the podium.
No.
No.
Nobody there?
Guys, what's up? And I don't see any hands online.
Okay, that's good. Then we have council announcements and let's go around and could I start with Lincoln?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a lot tonight other than to wish everyone an early, happy Independence Day. 250 years as the United States of America. Nothing to sneeze at. And very grateful to be in this country. I know I am and my family is too. So happy early Independence Day to everyone. Please stay cool and enjoy yourself responsibly. Thank you.
Okay, Brianna?
Just an announcement. We had our primary elections here in the state of Maryland last Tuesday, and results are still trickling in. For most offices for which Carrollton folks could vote for, the results are pretty solid. But for countywide offices such as the Register of Wills, every day there's still a different vote total. The election will be completely certified on July 6th, and you can find out information about who won their various primaries on the Maryland State Board of Elections website. But I want to congratulate those returning members who represent us in District 22, Senator Alonzo Washington and Delegate Ashanti Martinez, and then two new delegates who will be advancing to the general election are, or two candidates who will be advancing to the general election, Mayor Tracy Gant and Molly McKee Seabrook. Like I said, there's still some county offices that are still out. Eric Olson ran unopposed, so he will be our county councilman again. The county executives race was called, so Aisha Braveboy won that primary. But there's still a couple of countywide races. So if you're interested to know more, the State Board of Elections website is the best source of information, and not Facebook, because Facebook doesn't always have accurate information. So check the State Board of Elections website. That's all I
Are
have.
we congratulating you, Brianna? You were on the ballot.
Yes, I was on the ballot, and I was essentially unopposed. The Democratic Central Committee sends 2 men and 2 women to be representatives from each electoral district. So there were 2 men and 2 women running in District 22. So I'm excited to join my new colleague, Yolanda Taylor Burwell, who is the vice president of the Whitfield Chapel Civic Association, first time running for office, as well as the 2 new gentlemen. I'm the only returning member from District 22. So Emmett Jordan was on the committee for 12 years. He's the mayor of Greenbelt. He has decided to do something else with his free time, or create free time. Daniel Peabody and Teresa Mitchell-Dudley were appointed to fill vacancies, and both of them chose not to run for their seats. Daniel Peabody moved to DC, and Teresa Mitchell-Dudley was serving as a placeholder. She is the president of the Maryland Teachers Union. And so she was happy to serve for a short time, but not happy to serve for a long time. So yes, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Cynthia, have anything to add tonight?
No, I have anything bad. The only thing I have is that they made a statement that only 17% of Prince George's County
Voted.
and I find that to be disgraceful.
It's less than last time.
17% of all the people here. I have a problem with that. But that's all I have to say.
Okay, and Agnelli?
I want to announce the city council town hall for Saturday, July 11th at 2 p.m. I will verify if the library is open.
It's open.
It's open? Okay, so we'll be there. Otherwise, we would have defaulted here to City Hall, but I will confirm it anyway, but that's the plan. And I really would like for residents that attend to give us feedback on various aspects of the budget. So when we revisit the budget in council sometime later in the summer, we can have your input. So July 11th.
2 to 4.
2 to 4, yes.
2 to 4. Okay. And I will add a few. On July 11th at 9 in the morning, there will be the Police Foundation meeting at City Hall. And I trust that Chief Austin will be there with us. He had to miss the last one. That was during the Maryland Municipal League. That's another announcement I want to make. The council and some staff and the mayor attended the Maryland Municipal League conference. And I want to ask the council, sort of in the way of an assignment here, to consolidate your thoughts. And the next time we meet, to be prepared to share a couple of lessons, things that you took away from that conference that you see can benefit the city. I got plenty. So I won't take all the time, but I'm going to ask you to do that. That was a good conference. I was really pleased. And the third announcement I have, and I'm going to pass this on to Yvette or Maisha. I'd like to see it in the newsletter if we could, but the community tax aid folks, we did over 5,000 returns, not all in New Carrollton. I did about 100 of them in New Carrollton, but we estimated that they saved over $1 million in preparation fees. They got federal refunds for people of $3.02 million, and they got earned income tax credit for people of $1.12 million. So I'm always pleased with that campaign. I'm glad to volunteer with them. That's all the announcements I have, and we're ready for tool design, right? Tool design is virtual with us tonight?
Yes, he is, Jerry.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
there he is. Okay.
Thank you all for having me again tonight. I guess, so Maisha asked me to come to this meeting and said that that you had some questions about the letter I provided to her on our budget status. I thought I would just kind of open with what's happened since the last time that I presented to the council, or that we talked. One thing is that we submitted the SS4A grant, the city did, and helped with that. It was a pretty big effort, and I think, but I'm very proud of the application that was developed. I think it gives the city a good shot at getting the grant, although we know it's going to be very competitive. As mentioned, I provided a letter to the town manager, Maisha, about the status of the project and sort of our budget situation. In that letter, I mentioned that we have about 26,000 left. We actually have a little bit more than that. It's more like 29,000. I didn't have the full budget picture from our partner RHI when I provided that, so it was just an estimate of what we had remaining. But it's still a bit less than we thought that we would have at this point. So we need direction from the council regarding how we should spend that remaining budget, and I provided some options in the letter which we can discuss and you can ask questions about. I also provided to her an example traffic calming policy that Tool Design developed for the town of Hillard, Ohio, small town, a little bit bigger than New Carrollton, about 40,000 people. But it's the sort of thing, it's an example of the kind of thing that we think would be helpful for the city to have. I also provided an example design toolkit that was paired with that traffic calming policy. And then finally, provided a list of potential projects for your consideration in fiscal year 2027. And I think that's in the packet as well. So these are short-term projects that we think could be implemented within the next year by the city. And they're all on city streets, and in most cases, they are not projects that were included in the grant application because they're not eligible for SS4A funding, but they could have a significant impact on transportation in the city and things that we heard about during our process that we think are important. So I guess I'll stop there and see if you all have any questions or would like me to go through anything in the materials.
Okay, thank you. Before we go any further, has everyone had a chance to read through the memo from Tool, the letter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so are we ready tonight to give direction? But I'll go last, but you folks feel ready that we can come to some kind of conclusion in this, and then we'll go around the table. You want to start, Brianna? You have thoughts on the letter?
Sure. I mean, the projects seem somewhat like simple, so would you recommend that we have our city engineer work up the RFPs to bid these projects out? Should we deploy one of these?
You're talking about the list of potential projects for fiscal year 2027. Yeah, I mean, I think that would probably be the approach that you would take. And some of them, I don't know what you can do in-house versus need a contract for, but I think some of them are going to be relatively straightforward, and others you'll need to hire a contractor probably to implement them for you.
Yeah, we already have contractors who do our like sidewalk repair,
Mhm.
But obviously bigger, more challenging projects, I think we're going to need expertise for. That's the question I have. That's the only question I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Lincoln, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going through, sir, and thank you for providing these options and kind of getting a sense for the money options. And I kind of like option 2 and 3. But I just need some clarity from you now. I hear I heard you say it's 26,000 and not 29,000.
No, we had said it was 26,000, but it is more like 29,000.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, if we went through with option 2, it would be still covered because option 2 is just 25,000.
Right.
Concept 1.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And if we were to do option 3, we do 2 concepts. If we picked concept 1 and concept 3, that'd be 40,000. So we'd have to, plus if we were to do concept option 2 with 1 concept and 1 rendering, that would still be at least 20,000, because even if we did option or concept 3, it's 15,000 plus 5. What I'm guessing at, or what I'm trying to get to is 40,000 obviously is more than 29 that's available. The city would have to come up with the additional 11,000 on its own, correct?
Well, for option 3, so that's the concept would be for Carrollton Parkway, and that's the one that when I went to our engineers and asked them, how much that would cost to develop, that they felt would be relatively straightforward. The goal there would be primarily to make it to clarify the two-way operation, but to also include other potential improvements along that corridor. So that's 15,000, I believe, and then there are 2 intersection concepts, and those would come in at about $5,000 each. So that brings you up to 25,000. And then we can make the Word document look better than it currently does with the safety action plan, and address any final edits on it as part of option 3 as well, within the 26 or 20, actually 29,000 that we have now.
Got it. Thank you for the clarity. So option and option 3 would be covered with the funds that are remaining.
Yeah, all of these options come out within the budget that I thought we had remaining, which was 26,000. And it turns out we have a bit more.
Okay, well, help me understand option 1 then, because
Okay.
I see 5 intersections there, and it could be 3 concepts and 2 renderings, 4 concepts and 1 rendering. Maybe my math was incorrect, but when I totaled up, it was a lot more than 29,000.
Yeah. So the point there is that intersection concepts and renderings are the same price. So 5 times 5,000 is 25, and the point there was just that it could be either 3 concepts and 2 renderings, or 4 concepts and 1 rendering. The idea being that you need to develop the concepts and then build rendering around the concept design. And the purpose of the rendering would be to be able to share with the public what this is going to look like. So, for example, you make changes at 85th Avenue and Longfellow Street. You improve that intersection to include crosswalks and other improvements to clarify vehicular movements, for example, improve sight lines. That could be visualized for people so that they have a better understanding of what that would look like on the ground. That would be the rendering. But essentially, you're talking about 5 intersection or rendering concepts. That's a total of 5 altogether, times $5,000. That would be $25,000.
Okay, thank you for the clarity.
Sure.
All right, and I don't need any more explanation on option 4, given said. But Mr. Chair, just for clarity, I would lean toward option 2 or option as my first choices. And only one final question. Since the application was submitted for the SS4A, and I noticed that some of the items say no, they were part of the application, some of the items say yes, that they were. What was the advantage to including the ones that were yes if they're not going to be paid for with the grant?
Well, the thinking on that was these are things that are relatively easy to move forward in the short term. And in some cases, they're part of a larger project in the grant, so it would be a smaller piece of it. So, generally speaking, those projects are projects that are not in the grant. But there are some that, like establishing a traffic calming policy, developing a design toolkit that we think could be helpful to the city in the near term.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no further questions.
Okay, Cynthia?
I'd go with three, period. And after he explained it even better, after, Mr. Lashley explained it even better, I'd go with.
Okay, Agnelli?
Yes. We'd like to understand how option 2 of the corridor concept 1, it's the whole length of 85th versus on option 2, potential intersection. How would that be different?
Well, because it's longer, so that's why it is more expensive to develop a concept for it, and that would include actually 2 intersections: the intersection of 85th and Longfellow, and Westbrook Drive and Longfellow. So it would encompass that and what's between them.
That would be option 2.
That would be option 2, yes.
And if we did option 2, is there any rendering within that package of option 2?
Not within the 26,000. We could potentially explore that. I mean, I think particularly for that location, because it's such a prominent location, I think that's where a rendering could be really helpful to explain to people what this is actually going to look like and feel like. That can be hard to understand based on, a plan view concept.
So I'm kind of aligning with your thinking in option 2 because 85th has so much traffic volume, and I would be interested to having the whole concept instead of just a little intersection. Now that we have a few more thousands with option 2, could we finagle a rendering?
Possibly. I can check into that and get back to Maisha about that.
Okay. So that's about the grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing the table with potential funding priorities. I'm the one that asked you for this. And my thinking, colleagues, was that out of the suggestions, when we go back to considering projects in the budget, we would identify which of these could be inserted into the budget, not expecting decisions today. And what I found interesting is that 4 of them have to do with sidewalks and bridges, which is something we discussed based on the reports we got on the status of the 3 major bridges or 2 superstructures and 3 bridges that we discussed making that a priority. So it seems we could align priorities based on the report for maintenance of the superstructures and the recommended priorities of safer streets. So further discussion when we go back to budget consideration. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I was inclined to agree with what Lincoln was saying, that I like the option 2. And it's, just to be clear, it's Longfellow to Westbrook. It doesn't go all the way to 450, correct?
Right, because that would require bringing SHA into the conversation because it connects to Annapolis Road, and we have a project in the grant application to address Annapolis Road and that segment of 85th. It's just that I mean, it could potentially be done, but it like it would be hard for the city to move forward with a concept that included the entire area, because without SHA backing for it, because it connects to Annapolis Road.
And how about from the shopping center down to Westbrook? Would that be the same issue? There's an entrance to the shopping center there, what we call the box,
Yeah, right.
right in front of the hotel. That doesn't connect to 450. That's still all in the city.
Yeah. I think there may still be impacts because it's so close to the intersection.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay, are we ready to give guidance then? I like option 2. Lincoln did. It sounded like Agnelli was favoring that too. We all want to give Maisha guidance?
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
wanted possibly, so I like option 2 as well, and if we're gonna only do one, then I think that that's the best one as well. But this is the kind of thing that from the budget class at MML, that feels like the type of thing that we should be spending our reserve on, our overcapitalized reserve. Would there be any appetite from this council to explore all the options, to do all of them? I mean, we have the money, and one-off expenses are the things that you're supposed to be spending your reserves on, not ongoing expenses. And so these are literally one-time expenses. And I don't know, I wanted to hear what other people thought about was the best if we were only going to choose one. But I mean, we all agree that these are all things that we need to do eventually. And so why not pursue?
Yeah, we are still open to budget amendments, even though we're operating at a continuing resolution. And what's the total then? I didn't do the math here. The total is about 100 and
Yeah, it's not,
200.
yeah, I think it's,
You got 85 and 75. That gets you to.
yeah, it's less
So
than
you-
300. Let me use a calculator before I say anything improper. So it's 5,000 each for the city-owned intersection, and we said there were 5 intersections, so that's 25,000.
there are only 4 intersections that are listed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can wait.
1,000.
Jim,
Mhm.
when do you think we'll hear back from the Safe Streets implementation?
My understanding is that the reason that they pushed the schedule forward the way they did was so that they could make announcements before the election. So I would assume that decisions will be made before the election.
So in October, you would think?
I think so. I'm not sure. I can reach out to Angie, who's our systemic safety lead and who worked at FHWA, and kind of ask her what she's heard about when we might hear. That was what she told me initially, that she felt it would come out before the election, but did not specify exactly when.
And just to be clear, so the number that I have is 236,000, give or take, because of the amounts where it says 5,000 per. But this is only money spent to do the planning, not to actually execute the work that will need to be done. And so money that we get, and potentially if we're awarded the grants, could cover the actual boots on the ground.
Well, and the money that the city gets from the grant could pay for design work as well. That was included in our cost estimate.
Okay, so that was one of my follow-up. If we're trying to maximize the contract we have with Tool that are available.
Right.
The rest of this work was included in the grant that was submitted.
These concepts were included in our scope. We included a task that included concepts and renderings in our scope. But then we also, in the grant application, included a budget for developing the designs for these corridors.
Okay, so I'm more inclined to use the funds they have and pick out of the options wait to see a couple of months what happens with the grant.
That's true, because we could always come,
And exactly.
Yeah.
And revisit whether additional design work wants to be funded or not.
all right, Mr. Chair, I'm going to withdraw my idea. It wasn't really a motion. And say that I think we should all go forward with 2, since that's where the consensus is, but then we should revisit it after we learn whether we got the grant, because we can always move forward then.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm agreeing with too. So let's, Maisha, that's the direction. You got that?
I have it, and so does Mr. Elliott.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for being with us. I think we're ready to move on, right?
Thank you very much.
Okay. The next item I added to the agenda, addressing charter changes to modify the form of government. And I put it on there for a number of reasons. Maisha, thank you for putting in our packet the 3 items from 2025, 2520, and these are all in your packet. If you haven't had time to read them, that's okay. Tonight, it's not my goal to go over these things. It's my goal to get some feedback from you folks. 2520 addressed the responsibilities of the mayor, made some modifications. 2524 did away with the treasurer. It's modifying to the administrative officer's role. And 2525 had to do with the powers of the council. And the question I have is, we have 3 council members here, Lincoln and Brown and myself, who were there for these actions. And at the time we thought they were good. And now we have a new council. We have 2 members, Cynthia and Agnelli, who are just seeing these in writing. And I want to know if this new council thinks, now that we've had some time to operate with these new provisions, if these provisions are adequate or if they need additional attention. And with that question, I want to go around the room. I'd like to start with Lincoln and then Brianna, so that you can share the wisdom from going through this process and see how you think these things are playing out. And then I'd like to hear what Cynthia and Agnelli have to add thoughts, and if what we did is adequate. Okay, Lincoln, you care to start?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we did spend a lot of time on this in the last council session, going through these and amending the charter, basically trying to add the daily operations of the city to the city manager's plate and take them off of the mayor's plate. I did have one thing that I just wanted to mention quickly on 2524, and only because it's the current state of operations where we are right now. It's on page 3 of that particular ordinance.
What's the page
20
number on the bottom?
On the bottom, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Which
Gotcha.
number?
It's 94 of
94?
195.
Okay, thank you.
And it's number 11. And it's only because of the current state of affairs that I was reading through and I noticed this. It says the city manager shall designate by letter with the city clerk, a qualified employee of the city, to perform the duties of the office during any temporary absence or disability. We don't currently have a city clerk. I'm wondering if maybe we should add the mayor there or another city employee, maybe the comptroller or something. Just because of where we are right now. Obviously, this won't be something that will happen on a regular basis, but at this time, we don't have a city clerk. So that was one thing that kind of jumped out at me as I was going through it. And I'm happy to get the feedback from my colleagues as to what they think would be appropriate there. But another thing that, just to give the historical context, when you have the strong mayor form of government, which we have here in the city of Carrollton, trying to amend it and hand over the duties of the day-to-day operations to the city manager is a change. It's something that we will all have to kind of get used to, swallow and move forward. But I think that what we've done thus far is adequate. I think we just need to make sure that we adhere to everything that we have here in these charter amendments. But I would like to hear what my colleagues think about that one change that I'm proposing there, to either add the mayor or another staff member in the absence of a city clerk.
Okay, Brianna?
Great catch, Lincoln, on that. I do think we could amend this, paragraph to just indicate, shall designate by letter with a city clerk or other qualified employee.
That makes sense.
And that, in the
makes
event that
sense.
the city manager is going to be in a temporary absence. And I think that would be a small change that wouldn't necessarily, create controversial public hearings or anything. we spent a lot of time on this, at least 10 meetings, if not 12 meetings on this. So I still think, I think it's too early to make large substantive changes. But I don't think that it's been adhered to the way that my vision was when I was doing a lot of the writing. I wanted to maintain, and I liked that that Maisha or Dwayne, whoever made the decision to put the chart in with the X's. It's good for folks to see that. It's pages like 76 to 78 of the 195 pages in this packet. So we are still all for elements of a strong mayor, with the exception, I guess now we're maybe 3.5, because the mayor doesn't have the unilateral power to fire appointees any longer. But they still do have the power to recommend termination. I don't really believe in a strong mayor form of government, and I've been very critical of it, and it has nothing to do with who the current mayor is, who the previous mayor was, the mayor before that, or even the mayor before that. I just think that when the city was incorporated in the 70s, no one really thought about the demands that a municipal government would have. And I think that full-time people with experience in training should be the ones executing the day-to-day operations of the city. I think the vetting process for cities that have strong mayors is a lot more competitive and a lot more challenging than it is here in a small town, and deservedly so. And so I would definitely love to see anybody else draft something that can pass this council that would weaken the form of our strong mayor government. But I actually was very intentional about, I do think the mayor should retain veto power. I do think it is the mayor's duty to set the budget priorities of the city. But I think in terms of like the running the day-to-day operations of the city, in terms of having influence over hiring and firing, especially of non-appointee positions, I was very strong against that in the previous mayor, and I maintain that position now. But, you know, there are things that are happening now that were not what I envisioned would occur when I was drafting this 2 years ago. But unfortunately, as folks know, there really isn't a mechanism in the state of Maryland to enforce charters. The Attorney General doesn't have an office that really enforces that kind of thing. Someone told me recently the only thing that holds electeds accountable are elections. But if you look in this room, most of us have been elected before multiple times. We don't have a, although we've had a huge increase the last 3 or 4 elections in turnouts of candidates and had competitive, you know, council races with 9 and 11 candidates filed, that's still the pennies. It's still nothing compared to the 13,000 strong that this city is. And so I don't think elections have held us accountable. But after 2 years of working on this, I'm not really that interested in drafting right now. So if somebody else wants to draft something, I'd definitely be happy to participate in that. Another thing that I think we should do that the previous mayor didn't support, I've never discussed it with the current mayor, but Seat Pleasant had a charter like reform citizen committee, like a resident committee. I think that would be really, really wonderful for us to do. And Seat Pleasant also is represented by Jason. And so he was a part of that, providing legal guidance and support. I know that MML would also provide legal guidance and support, because there are a lot of folks in the community who are very educated and know a lot about political organizations, but may not know exactly how all of this stuff works. So I want to make sure that they get the education they need so they can have informed opinions and help us develop the city that we want. But I mean, I've been pretty transparent. I don't think strong mayor makes sense in a town this little. I think that, you know, one of the things that I said, and a credit to Maisha, that I said to the previous mayor, is like, I want our next city manager to be a certified city manager and trained under the ICMA, which is the organization for city managers. And before even being put forward for the position, Maisha went to city manager school and took her exams and put forth her presentations and so on. And I really was happy to see that. And so that's why I supported you in voting for you, was because you took that step. And I know you're being coached by Kenny in College Park and Josue and Greenbelt, both very seasoned city managers who I respect a lot. And so I definitely believe I believe in that process, but that's where I'm at.
All right, now I'll go last, but I want to make 3 comments on what you said there. 1, I agree with you. I don't think the strong mayor applies to our city. It's just not the best. 2, I added that chart from MML, and I think it is pertinent. I'm glad you noticed that, and I hope everybody else had a chance to read that, because you see what the other cities are doing, and you also get a sense of where we are right in the start there. The strong mayor council, we have many of those components. And 3, we already have a mayor's advisory committee. I'm not sure if that's as strong as what happens in Seat Pleasant, but we do have that. But let me hear from the 2 new council members on what their thoughts are on this process and what's already in place. Cynthia, why don't you go first?
Well, I don't consider myself new, but
I'm sorry. You weren't there for this process is when we did this.
I was sitting right over there, and
Okay.
I voiced my opinion every time it came up. I brought 4 or 5 people in here with me, and the fact that they were kind of sort of against it, when I went to get these people to make sure they voted, they told me, we sat there in meetings with you, and they didn't even listen to what we had to say, and our comments weren't important. What I've heard tonight is a whole lot of I, me, I think. That's the problem. That's the reason I wanted this brought back up, because I got frustrated when it was going through, because there was such a battle going on. People were saying things. Some of the council members were against it. I wanted this brought back up because I want to go through it like a fine-tooth comb. I don't need to reprint it or anything, but I think there's some things I would like to highlight and have explained to me a whole lot better. Period.
Okay, it's brought back up then. Agnelli?
I read the section twice, and it's brought some flashbacks, because when the previous council was discussing this, I was on that side as a resident, and I voiced some objections to changing the structure. But that's before I learned how the sausage is made. Now, on this side of the table, after a year, I do have problems with our structure of strong mayor. So I would like to bring this for discussion again. Just look at section C in page 84, where it says the mayor shall be the chief executive officer of the city and the head of the administrative branch of the city government. And then if we go to page 93, paragraph A.
Hold on a second.
So at first, page 84, the mayor's duties, and now page 93, the city manager is established to oversee day-to-day operations of the city, manage department heads, and implement council policies. That's administrative duties. And so it seems within our own revised language, there is nebulous disposition of authority. And I am in alignment with Brianna's thinking that for our city structure, I would like to see a professional city manager run the day-to-day operations of the city, be the head of the administration, give directions, and implement the legislation the council puts forward. Now, the other highlight of reading this is on the next page, 94, paragraph 3. The city controller is established to oversee the financial administration, accounting, and reporting for the city. The city controller shall ensure fiscal responsibility, transparency, accountability in all fiscal matters. And then on the top of page 95, monitor compliance with the city's budget, ensuring proper expenditure of public funds. And then on section H, monitor variances against the budget. So we have been talking about these budget amendments and how the administration spends money and then comes to the council asking for budget amendments to balance the budget. And the changes in the charter, because these are all capital letters that were made last year, is putting that responsibility in the controller, which we haven't been holding the controller accountable for the new duties that were assigned to him. But if we go back to the mayor's section on page 85.
Hold on. Slow down. Okay, I want to follow you.
Yes, page 85, mayor duties number 4. The mayor shall assist the controller in supervising the disbursement of monies and have control over all expenditures to assure that budget appropriations are not exceeded. That's the whole argument I've been having in multiple council meetings since the fall. And so it seems that the language that was approved last year, we haven't implemented it. The authority of spending money has stayed with the mayor, not with the controller. And maybe we need to make sure that what was written gets implemented. How do we turn the vote and take it from paper to implementation? That needs some thinking and maybe some rewriting.
Okay. If you're done, I mean, I'm hearing Brianna say that no matter what we write, there's not an instrument to enforce it. And Agnelli, you're observing where things are not being followed as written, and Cynthia wants it revisited. So I'm taking notes on this, and I think we should revisit it. Agnelli, I mean, Brianna doesn't want to volunteer to write, and I wouldn't ask her to do it twice. Agnelli, are you in a position you want to do some of the drafting? If we gave you ideas, you would, because it sounds like you've dug into certain specific sections. Yes.
Yes, I will take the assignment with some help.
Okay, now other council members, we won't meet with a quorum, but if you have ideas, you can send them to Agnelli if you want to write your notes down. I don't want to write this by committee and take council time to do it, but if we can get something together to look at, and Agnelli, I'll talk with you offline about a timeline, and I'd be glad to give you my thoughts on it too. So let's take that direction. Let's take what we have, and Agnelli, you'll take responsibility for drafting any changes you think are pertinent. Anybody have any other observations about that approach?
I just wanted to maybe ask Maisha her thoughts when she is the city manager. Like, in terms of like, for instance, Councilmember Malave's comment around like, we haven't been holding the comptroller accountable. I feel like the comptroller is not an appointee, they're just an employee. And so you speak for all the things that happen like in the admin. And so I don't feel like necessarily, like, I'm curious what you meant by that, because I feel like we have been holding the administration accountable a lot for budget. I mean, obviously,
We've been calling them out
yeah.
on actions, but according to this, we should have been calling out the controller.
Yeah, and I guess I
But
just
I
feel like
didn't
it's the
know
same
the
difference.
nitty-gritty of the words.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by accountable, because I have challenged the mayor on the actions she took of giving a salary higher than the budget. And she has presented her reasoning multiple times. But according to this, in October, when this first was brought up, I would have called the controller and say, what are you going to do about the budget variance now in October so we don't get to April?
Okay, let's see if Maisha wants to respond to that. Maisha, you have thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be, I can't remember who brought it up in the beginning.
Me,
Well, I mean, just the language itself is contradictory
yes.
in the writing. And so it does create confusion on who is supposed to be doing what. So, I mean, I'm gonna just tell you, that's where we all stand with, well, who is supposed to be doing this piece and that piece? Because it still says the mayor is the chief executive officer. She is, working with the comptroller for the budget, but then later on you say the city manager is supposed to do something with the budget. So it's like either it said, needs to say the three of us are doing this, but it shouldn't say this one is doing this. Oh, but then this one's doing it. So I think the language overall does need to be more
Clarify.
concise.
If you wouldn't mind me adding to your list of 9,000 things to do, identifying the areas, the pain points that you've experienced in your role, specifically where you're not sure who is actually has authority over a task, a responsibility. I think that would help Agnelli in her drafting so that we know exactly what needs to be clarified. Because yeah, there are definitely revisiting this and rereading it brought back a lot of trauma. But you know, most of this was written by me in the wee hours of the night and morning. And I assumed falsely that a lot of things were going to get caught by the city attorney in review. And I think he only reviewed what I changed and not what was there before to look for those inconsistencies. And so I'll take responsibility for that because at the end of the day, I did a lot of the writing, but you know, obviously that wasn't the intention. The intention was to make it clear who did what. And so I think this council still has to decide who does what. I'm not going to suggest that I know that answer, but if you could tell us like where in your day-to-day responsibilities it is unclear, that would help Agnelli to draft the clarity that I think the government needs.
I'm going to quote Brooke Learman from the conference. I thought it was a very pertinent comment she made. She said, you got to do the right thing,
Yes.
but you got to do the thing right.
Yeah.
And we did the right thing, Brianna. We tried to tackle it. And now we find it can't be followed in a sense that we do the thing right.
Yes.
Sometimes, and that could be worked on in this new language. So I think we know where we need to go. And Agnelli, thank you for volunteering to do the writing.
But I think before you write it, you have to decide what direction do you want to go in,
Right.
so that you know. So like it says, the mayor's the chief executive officer, day-to-day operations. It says the the city manager's day-to-day operations. Well, what direction are you trying to go in to then decide which one needs to be edited?
I think we should have some conversations so I understand better what your role is, what the mayor's doing, controller, and that would help give me the fuller picture, and then we identify things. So
Yeah, because
Yes.
day-to-day operations is so broad. And I think that was part of my struggle was trying to, I really wanted a lot of specificity and I got pushback from the city attorney, responsibly so, that your charter is not supposed to be an exact list. It's not supposed to be a job description. It's supposed to be like the Constitution. So if we could have that clarity, we could definitely work on ordinances as well that support.
And
Provide that
so
specificity.
to understand, once something is drafted and reviewed, we need to do the public hearing process. And plan, so we, as the council that expires in May 2027, get to approve this before the last day of our council.
Yeah, well, and honestly, maybe we only work on one chapter because honestly, we did 5 chapters last time and we had 12 meetings before the public hearing. So everyone thought it was rushed at the end. 12 meetings, special meetings that were not regular council meetings that were held on Sundays and Thursdays. And so it wasn't rushed. It took that long for us to get to this level of consensus, which clearly wasn't very clear. And
But
so,
as the dust settled, we found there's some things we need to clarify and maybe modify. So that's where we'll go. Maisha, we'll let's bring it up. Let's bring it up at another meeting after that. A little more time to think about it, and Agnelli gets a handle on what she's going to do with drafting it. Thank you, guys. That was very helpful. And I think we'll move on to the next item, which is BRC. And with BRC, I always try to go last, but there's 3 things I want to mention here to Maisha that maybe will clarify where we're going. We have 15 minutes. I don't think we need that much time. Maisha, I think Quentin is the oversight manager, and I'm curious if he's tracking deliverables. And who is Quentin or you, Maisha, somebody looking at the timeline, because dates have lapsed. There was, I don't have the contract in front of me, but dates have lapsed. And I want to know if we're staying in communication with them and holding them to some kind of timeline
Yeah.
before I count.
Page 102. That they're saying by Wednesday, July 8th, they will have the final package with all 5 project deliverables and their supporting documentation.
What page are you?
Oh, 102.
102.
102.
July 8th.
RT study recommendation?
No, see any of those.
102.
Okay, well, with that information,
They're different.
I'm not sure we need to discuss this any further because we have a continuing resolution with no deadline on it. And we'll just have to wait till the 8th. Any questions from anybody else to Maisha about the process here?
Let me see the piece of paper we're talking about.
Here, just take it from me.
It's just a
Oh,
sentence.
that's it. That's what you have.
Couple sentences.
Just says,
It's just a couple
"Y'all
sentences.
review
I had
by
reached out to
state
them
crime
to say,
control."
She got it.
All the deliverables for July 8th?
That's what they said, that's what they're saying.
Mr. Chair, I feel guilty asking this, so I completely understand if it can't be accommodated, but I leave the country on July 9th and don't return until July 22nd. And so if you guys could hold any actions that you take until August, I mean, obviously you're free to discuss it and I will read it over email. It'll actually be my fun airport reading before I go, but I would really like.
If it's within my authority, I would honor that. I mean, I don't see this to be rushed. We have to study this information and we have the continuing resolution in place. And we don't have any policy for what we're going to do with the information. We still have to have discussions on whether adjustments can be made upward, downward, or at all, and how that takes place. So I don't mind waiting, Brianna. I'm glad you brought it to our attention though. Anybody other thoughts on that?
Mr. Chair, I just want to add that I'm just a little bit concerned because I hear them say here Wednesday, July 8th, which is just a week from today. And they're already behind and other dates have lapsed. How confident are we that they'll be able to adhere to that deadline?
I know I spoke with them today. And she told me she will have everything for us next Wednesday.
In other words, we're not real confident, Lincoln.
Well, I said this from the beginning because I know the last time we did a compensation study and it did not include all these elements that you all have asked for, and it took us a year. And everyone that I've talked to that has done compensation studies, it takes a year. So I was shocked at this timetable, but they're telling me that they will have all your deliverables that you've asked for and everything next Wednesday.
Well, the other side of that coin is we set out an RFP and people responded and they gave us timelines, and BRC gave us this timeline. They thought they could do it. They looked at the assignment. So I think they should be a little more responsive and request extensions if they needed. It's just, we've been waiting. But okay, go ahead.
That's the June 8th meeting. I think that's what the date was. You all brought some concerns at the following council meeting. And so we went back to them and said, this is what the council's asking for. And so they did then request additional documents from us. And so we have been working on the back and forth to get the items that you all have asked for.
Okay, let's see what we get on the 8th. I suggest we move on.
Agnelli's hand is raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Agnelli.
This is going to be a lot of deliverables.
Yes.
We know.
I want that printed. I'm a paper person, so yes, you can share the electronic versions, but I want it put it together like the budget book, so I can start speaking of this on.
I'll come by for a printed
Well, if it's
version
next
to
week-
bring to the airport.
And we still have a meeting on the 15th, right?
Yes, you have a meeting.
We have a meeting on the 15th.
Okay.
Okay, that's that one.
So,
Wait a minute, hold on, Ms. Agnelli's hand.
I'm sorry.
so even though we might not discuss
Oh, you can discuss it. Just don't vote on
on the
anything.
15th, present some sort of highlights for the residents. Because we just got it off the press. Maybe we can extract some notes and have 15 minutes for the residents.
Well, Maisha, this report I think is going to be available to the public, correct? The last compensation study was.
The whole-
Yes,
Even caboodle?
The whole.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they put their name on it and give us a final product, which is that objective report we've been waiting for, that can be shared with the public. So certainly, Agnelli, if you want to share that with people, and I'm not sure how the administration wants to distribute that information. I don't think the public wants to read the whole report, not everybody, but it should be known that it's publicly available.
I mean, I think what happened last time was there was this whole huge document that stayed like internal, but then there was a whole PowerPoint presentation that summarized everything that then became the public document.
And I would recommend that approach this time.
Wait until you all went through it
Mhm.
before you put it out there.
Okay, I'm kind of lost. Are you saying you recommend what Maisha said about a PowerPoint summary presentation, or are you talking about making everything public? Or both?
I would think both. Everything's public, but the public will may not. I'd have to see the report first. Maisha's right. The last study was huge. I don't know how large this one's going to be. If it's 200 pages, I don't think the public wants to read that. And then I would suggest a PowerPoint summary or some type of summary. But let's see what the report shows first. But the general concept is that everything is available to the public if they want to see it.
Okay.
It's a matter of how we communicate it.
It's a matter
All
of-
right. Let's see what we have here for the electronic signs. We only have 5 minutes. So Maisha, what's the status of that?
So in your package, you will have the 1, 2, 3, I think it was four people that responded to the bid. So all their information is included along with the, their package, and then a summary saying the vendor's information, the cost, so forth. So this was just something for you all to have and then to review, and then we can discuss at the next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting is good. Let me go around the table on this one if you've read it. Does anything stand out to you, Lincoln?
The book.
Nothing stood out to me, Mr. Chair, in terms of anything negative, but I do like Soleil. Am I pronouncing it right?
Soleil.
Or Soleil. Soleil. Is that French?
Mhm.
Soleil Energy Corp.
Yes.
For a couple of reasons. The bid amount is 59,000 per location. Plus, they are a local company located right here in Crofton, Maryland. So that is my first choice. And my second choice was Complete Signs. They're not local. The price point was good, but I really like Soleil Energy Corp. That would be who I would recommend at this point. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Brianna, your thoughts on this one?
I agree with Mr. Lashley all night tonight, and I am really excited that we put this out to bid because these are much better prices than the prices I saw last year. And I really liked the signs in general. I just would be curious from the pictures. I'd be curious now. Can you mute yourself? I'm sorry.
Who is that?
I don't know.
That's Miss Smith.
Hi, Ms. Smith.
Ms.
Yeah.
Smith, can you please mute yourself?
But yeah, I would just be curious if there was any additional costs because of the signs. Some of the locations don't have electric. So I saw like, for Soleil, it says 3,100 per location optional electric. Is that the cost for the places that don't actually have the electric?
None of them have electric.
None of the signs, none of the areas have electric already?
They all have to get electric to them.
Okay. So yeah, I would just be curious to know if there was additional costs, but I'm so glad we bid this out. And I think we could afford to do 3 signs at these prices.
This is the good Soleil.
All right, Cynthia, did you read through this?
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
My question is, I thought, number 4, I thought they were talking about, with that name, I thought maybe, I thought maybe they were doing, solar power, which would be a lot cheaper than trying to have them put that power up, but I noticed that not too many people didn't put that in there. If they could do solar power. Because 2 of them are located in the open where they could use solar power, but I don't know how much the signs would need, so I was just
Yeah.
curious. Yeah, I don't know how much power the signs would need.
Yeah, that's an engineering question.
Mhm.
Agnelli, what do you think?
I'm bothered because this was not in the package I downloaded and reviewed before the meeting, so I cannot speak to this. And we revisited it on the 15th, so I have time to look at it.
Mhm.
All right, and I'd like to revisit on the 15th as well, because I don't have the packet in front of me. I apologize. I'm away from my desk. But I do appreciate Brianna's and Lincoln's comments. I think that's the one that stuck out to me too when I saw it. So let's bring it back up on the 15th. This is money, I think, that comes from what Brianna refers to, just savings that would be well spent for programs that benefit the community. Is that the way you look at it, Brianna?
Yeah, and it would, maybe we could invite the two lower bidders, Soleil and Complete, right? Complete to present to us so we can see the difference,
You have to do all
the
four.
vibe and stuff.
You can't do two. You have to do everybody put the bid in.
You can do whatever you want. It's
No,
just
you're
a
not.
bid.
If it's a bid, everybody has to know everything that everybody else knows.
No, but we bid it out. We can talk to whoever we want after. The bid,
So I do want to let you all know the signs that you all saw previously, the Watchfire ones, are vendors 2 and 3.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm not sure what 1 and 4 will look like.
yeah, so I'd like to see them. I mean, I saw the pictures, but it'd be cool if we could get a presentation from them just to see what, what they can show us.
Yeah, so the 2 and 3 product will be the same because it's the Watchfire product.
Okay. But you can see at Parkdale High School. They have it.
Yes.
But I like the idea of hearing from Brianna. Are you gonna be here at the next meeting?
It's
I don't know. What are the dates you're away, Brianna?
I'm away all, basically the rest of July.
You wouldn't be there if we bring them on the 15th.
No, but if you do it, I'll watch it after the fact. I'll watch before we vote. I just,
Okay.
while I'm in Europe.
And we can save you the vote for you. Okay. Let's see if we can do that, Maisha. Invite the two that we like for the July 15th meeting. You okay with that?
2 and 3 are visually the same.
2 and 3 would be visually the same. They're the Watchfire product. So the prior council would remember that we had a truck that came out here and showed the product. On top of Parkdale High School actually has the Watchfire sign also.
I want to make sure, is it a problem if we invite 2 of the bidders to present to us and
We
not all
invite
of
2 of
them?
the bidders in, talk to them, tell them what we want, and one of them get it, and the other 2 who were not invited finds out it was awarded to somebody who had more additional information, we could be sued.
I think it's always safer.
To invite
ask
everyone?
all of them to come.
Yes. It's against law. We have
10
to-
minutes each.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if
All
we
right, well, let's plan a shorter presentation from everyone and we'll do it that way.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to break the law, but I didn't know that. I thought if you were excluding someone who bid on it, then you're to exclude them.
You have to
I
make
will
sure
check, but it's always usually safer just to let everybody come
everybody
sit
has
at
the
the
same
table.
information, yeah.
Ask Quentin what he would think, and if you have to, you could ask Jason, but I just as soon invite them all to come and do a shorter presentation. Okay, let's see. Maisha, you only have 5 minutes in the parking study. Is that brief?
Well,
I read what was in there and I wasn't real pleased, but go ahead.
it was just that I was making note that you all were receiving the recommendation from the parking study. So for everyone to review the 8-page document. And then we could discuss at a later date unless y'all are ready to discuss now.
Mm-mm.
I'd rather not discuss it tonight, but anybody have any thoughts on the document you read?
That's all they're gonna give us for the $50,000 or whatever we gave them.
We haven't paid them yet.
Disappointed.
Yeah,
We haven't paid them.
we should not.
So they're basically telling us enforce your parking regulations more.
And that
That was
we have a
my
parking
summary
problem.
of it.
We have a parking problem. That's what I
That we
was.
knew.
And give more
That we
tickets.
knew.
Enforce your,
It's hard to do with more tickets. We only have one person on New Carlton tickets.
so that's what they're saying, do more enforcement at night and weekends, and people will change their behavior.
Mr. Chair, can we invite them to a meeting to talk about why they didn't produce what we asked them to?
Thank you.
I think they owe that to us. I think Maisha could invite them to a meeting when you're back in town, Brianna. I don't want you to miss that one. We did that one in August, the big first week in August.
Can you share that RFP with me? That was
Mhm.
done before, so refresh what we contracted them to do versus what they delivered.
Yeah, Maisha, if you could scrounge up their response to the RFP. And the RFP that went out so that Agnelli can see it, so you can see that this is not what we didn't select them because we thought this was gonna be the final product.
I mean, this is, and all this time,
And even the samples they gave us were so much more comprehensive than what we received.
and we haven't paid him?
I was just about to ask that. Have we paid them their final disbursement yet?
We've only paid them one payment. And Quentin did text me. He said, yes, you need to have all the vendors come.
Okay. Well, thank you for catching that.
We'll take care of all the vendors, but the parking thing, again, in August, is that good to have them come visit with us, Maisha?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think that should be a longer agenda item because clearly in a year, they didn't produce what they said they were gonna produce in 5 months.
What I found helpful was this table.
Nice to hear everybody agreeing with what I read. So let's go on to the 4 cities. That's gonna be August 6th in Berlin. Brianna, you'll be back then.
I'll be back.
Attend that. Anybody have any items to add for Maisha to share with the city manager over there?
I'm curious, do all other cities have crossing guards and have problems like we do when kids get out of school, running across the streets? Cause I'm right there in that junior high, and I haven't hit kids have hit my car. They just walk right out in the middle of the street instead of going to the corner, and they hit my car like, you need to move. I just stopped. And I don't know whether we talk to the school or the crossing guards or how we're gonna handle it. And do we have assigned crossing guards? Do they have assigned crossing guards? I'm just curious about how they handle their school traffic.
I think we want to invite the school board member to visit with us about a number of things, including Robert Frost, when it opens and what the plans are for buses and that kind of thing. And the crossing guard, I think, is in their territory too, is it not, Brianna?
Yeah, it's a school thing. That was the topic of a 4 cities meeting. Lincoln, do you remember when Winika presented? I think it was last year, but I think it was before before you were elected this time. But when Winika and, yeah. No, it wasn't here. It was in College Park. Yeah.
Cause I was admiring the glass room, yeah.
I remember her being given.
Yeah, she presented on crossing guards and safe streets and safe passage.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Let's see if that's reality for this year coming up.
Did the election affect who our school board member is, Brianna?
It will, so the school board term ends at the end of this year. And our current school board member is not seeking reelection, so we will have a new one regardless. That is another race that if you watch day to day, we do not know yet who the top 2 candidates are. The top candidate is Terrence Clegg. The second candidate is still TBD.
And the current school board member, is it worth bringing him in?
Jonathan Briggs.
Yeah.
He came to us that one time last year and had no answers for any of our questions. And said he'd get back to us, and he wrote me an email 4 months later with no answers. I think that there was somebody that I can probably look to see if he's still in that role, but there was a guy who came and did a safety walk with myself and David Lai in 2023. That's PGCPS transportation specific. And he did a safety walk with us around all of the schools in New Carrollton, but unfortunately nothing came. He agreed with us that there were lots of problems.
Well, there's another thing that's coming up, and Maisha can work on this for us among her 9,000 other things, but Eric Olson's going to join us in August, correct, Maisha?
Oh, no, he's coming July 15th.
Oh, July 15th.
Yes.
Well, maybe we can prep him with some questions that he could address the school board concerns. He stays in touch with that kind of thing. Yes or no?
You might bring them with him.
Yeah, he might be able to bring somebody who can discuss the plans for Robert Frost, and we could discuss crossing guards too as part of the discussion with him.
I have sent all the dates for our July and August meetings in September, I believe, to my school board contacts. And so I'm waiting for them to tell me who's available.
I would like to know more about the school and what's happening with Robert Frost,
Okay.
what's gonna happen with Margaret's friend. So I had someone in church approach me, and so if someone could give us an update on that, would be valuable.
Yeah, I've already asked her for that.
Well, we'll start that with Eric Olson, and then we'll see how Maisha gets responses from the school board members. But Cynthia, the crossing guard really falls in that group. All right, but anything else for the 4 cities other than crossing guards?
Not right now.
Okay, then We have some minutes to review. Any edits you could give to Maisha? Anything you want to discuss in the minutes?
So there were no topics for Four Cities?
Just crossing guards.
Crossing guard,
Okay.
crossing guards.
Gosh, no.
And I can't see, is there anyone in the audience there tonight?
There are, but
The 3 people.
no one is rushing the podium. Oh,
Okay.
someone is,
Ready?
sorry.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
We have
Okay,
two.
they're ready.
I didn't know that was where we.
Yeah, me.
Okay.
We have somebody going to the podium? Good.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Cynthia Postleaf.
Cynthia Pole Sweet.
Cynthia.
Okay.
Well, good evening, since I don't have to say my name now. Two things. One, I want to thank Maisha and, Leroy, for clearing, I don't know if anybody else saw it. I know Dwayne saw it because I brought it up to him. Somebody had dumped all of these books in the creek at Lamont. Books, school books. It was a ton of them. And I called Maisha and she got Leroy to come out there and it was ridiculous. It had to be at least 20 of them. It was ridiculous. Yep.
That's very rare.
So, but thank you for doing that. Secondly, as far as the signs, I actually walked with, Maisha and Quentin and yeah, and Andrew, when the, people came to bid on the signs, I would caution you all about looking at the price. Because what I learned from Watchfire is totally different than an LED sign is gonna give you. Totally different. So I'm glad that you suggested that they come in and talk to you guys because, yeah, I thought LED was the way to go too, but after hearing Watchfire and seeing the advantages of that over LED, it makes a difference. So I know the prices look good for the LED sign, but longevity may not be there if that's the way you go. Plus, they also are doing all of the Maryland National Capital Park signs, and they're replacing all of the signs in Laurel now with Watchfire signs. So that may be something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to comment on those books because I would have gone in that creek, but I get poison ivy so horribly. And I didn't want to risk it. But
I
did
was
pick up
going
litter.
down there, so it didn't
Yeah,
matter.
I don't even mind going in the creek, but I don't go near poison ivy. I suffer too much. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Michelle Frisbee,
Hi, Michelle.
309 Sarah Street.
Uh,
I just wanted to quickly focus on something that Maisha said earlier about form of government. I think rather than wandering through page after page of the current charter with all the changes and whatever, that the council appoint an independent charter review committee that is comprised of citizens and those citizens and other people. And those citizens come up with a viable option for a form of government for the community. That way you have community buy-in immediately. And then after the form of government is agreed upon, then you do a complete overhaul of the charter based on what form of government it is that you actually want to adopt. Because looking through some of the changes, there are so many inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Everybody has tried to accommodate everybody. And what you end up with is nothing. Yeah, it's something that's very, and so I strongly recommend that you think about establishing an independent charter review committee that it is comprised of citizens and you know, any members of the council or anyone, the mayor, who would like to join. And then you do the hard work first, then you rewrite the charter rather than sort of doing it piecemeal, which is sort of the direction you're going. So thank you for the time. Oh, and since this is what I did in my job, I'd be happy to participate on the charter review. Yes, I would love to take the lead on, not take the lead, but pull it together, work with the council and pull it together. So, yeah, you're quite welcome.
For ICMA.
I work for ICMA.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm glad Michelle said that. I was going to ask her if that was volunteering on her part, and it is. So that's
And
perfect.
that is volunteering on my part.
All right. Any hands up online, Maisha?
Wait, we got one more.
All right, you got-
Oh, we got one more. Good. I can't see. I'm sorry.
Craig McLean.
One more.
Welcome, Craig.
5709 85th Avenue. The Indesco thing. What you got was the result of the RFP and the contract. The RFP, we kind of rushed putting it together. It was not subject to a stringent review, and the contract likewise. So what you get from Indesco is basically what they promised in the contract. I think that's what you'll find when you get those documents and you look at them. I lead with that because it goes directly to BRC. You're going to have a meeting with them, which hopefully will go smoothly. But before the meeting, you should all become intimately familiar with what they promised you in the contract, because that and only that is what they are obliged to provide. So have a look at that, because that's going to be what, it's not going to be about what you thought you were going to get. It's going to be what the contract promised. Okay. On the sign, yeah, price is nice. The visual appearance is much more important, I think, to all of us. But the one thing I haven't heard mentioned tonight is maintenance. How many times have you driven past an electronic sign? It's been on the blink for a year. That's not because the owner doesn't know it. It's because they can't get maintenance to come out and fix it. Okay? And then you've spent all your money for a piece of junk that makes you look worse than you did before you bought the sign. So you want to make sure in analyzing these 4 offers that they all come up strongly explaining what their after the sale service is going to be. Last thing, the school crossings thing. Indeed, the county has their own people. Those are union jobs. Where they're assigned, how much they work, what their work conditions are, that's all very stringently argued over, not easily changed. We, of course, have our own police and can augment that to the extent that the chief finds it feasible to do. One thing, again, that has never come up, we have, 2 new schools coming online very soon, and we don't know what's going to happen with the others. In any case, we have, presently 4 schools. Those schools all result in lineups of parents dropping off kids in the morning and picking up kids in the afternoon. And that's part of the traffic and the behavior problem that we have not looked at from the perspective of, this is something that's inherent in the business of being a school. The schools are imposing unfairly on the city by saying, well, yeah, we have customers coming and going, but we're just going to leave them out there on your street. We're not going to let them into our parking lots. We're going to hold them out there on your street and then let them dribble in or force the kids to walk out to your sidewalk to get in. And that is probably not the way we want it. We don't have anybody to go to on the school district or in their planning section to be able to say, hey, this has got to stop. We have streets that are 26 feet wide with parking on both sides, and you want a conga line of parents not on your property. They're there for you. They're not there for us. You want them out on our little streets. It's a big problem for us, and it's going to continue to be a problem, crossing guard or not. And that's all I've got. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Craig. Any hands up online, Maisha?
Nope, I don't see any.
Nope. Anybody ready to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, before we adjourn,
Yes.
it might be something we have to discuss in closed session. So I'm not going to mention any names, but we got an email from an employee.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up, and then in open session, we can discuss the roles of the council versus the roles of the mayor. And as I sent you folks that email today, I think it's strictly out of our purview, but I do feel since it came to all of us, we should respond somehow. That would be closed session. Do you suggest that we deal with that tonight?
I don't think we have to deal with it tonight. But if we do need to call the closed session at the next meeting, then I think that might be the way to go.
I'll be happy to excuse myself from that. You guys can take care of all of that while I am on vacation.
That's right. So you're on vacation. You don't mind us dealing with that while you're gone.
I read the
Cynthia, would you vote to go in closed session to discuss that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, and Agnelli?
Yes, and
Oh. Okay,
could we tie into that closed session, a follow-up discussion on Chief Rice? I missed
You don't say
the
anything.
closed session meeting. I read what the outcome is, and I have a big follow-up question that cannot be made publicly. So if we could kill two birds with one stone,
Yes.
with one closed meeting in the statements, we can just separate them about employee issues and legal
All right.
advice. And I was hesitant to ask for a closed meeting for just that one topic, but 2 for 1.
I'm all in favor of that. We can do that the next session, and if you think we should invite the legit attorney to deal with your question, he would probably make himself available, I could ask. You want that, Agnelli, or you think we can just discuss it in-house?
No, it's more about council actions,
Okay,
not legit.
okay.
So I'll move that we go into closed session to discuss personnel and legal
Well,
advice.
Lincoln said not tonight.
Not tonight,
15.
the 15th. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
was planning on the
when you
15th.
said when you, oh,
You said it
when you said
right.
would you vote for, I thought you meant like right now, and you said
Nah.
it to Cynthia.
We want to do a twofer, and we want to do the other one in the next meeting, so let's do both the next meeting. Is that
All right.
right? Okay.
Happy to excuse
I
myself for
moved
both
that
of
we
those.
adjourn.
So,
Mr. Chair,
oh, go ahead. Now I was gonna move to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
Somebody- Okay, it's moved by Cynthia, seconded by Brianna. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and opposed, none. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for putting up with my tardiness tonight. Brianna, have a wonderful trip, and I'll see everybody else at the town hall.
Spain is
Okay.
I was just gonna ask, is